Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future momrads. Littlefinger here today to share a little more knowledge with you. This time I am completing my Tier 3 tank reviews. This time we're going to be looking at the T82, which is an American Tier 3 tank destroyer. You see it here in the garage. Very interesting looking tank with a very nice derpy gun that you will probably be a little bit frustrated with, but it is super fun. Let's take a look here at the tank characteristics. You can see there at 3%. Very horrible on protection, but firepower up there at 41 and maneuverability up there at 66. This tank actually moves fairly well for a TD of its size, and just has a fantastic fun gun on it to drop in those HE shell rounds. And we'll see it here with the 105mm howitzer. You can see high explosive 400 hit point damage, which is more than most Tier 3 tanks have in their total hit pool collection. So most of these tanks are one shot. So anyway, let's take a look here quickly on the setup, consumables, repair kit, multi-purpose restoration pack, and adrenaline provisions. I'm running all three. If you wanted to save a few credits, you could probably run it without any of these. Ammunition, you can see here I am running with 8 rounds of heat, which cost 4,000 credits or 10 golds per round. So keep that in mind as you're switching between HE and heat. And you can see here at 22 on the low end for penetration on the HE versus 76 on the heat is quite a significant difference. So you will need it from time to time, and well worth it if you ask me. And then as far as equipment, running the gun rammer, the enhanced gun lane drive, and as that takes off over half a second to your aim time there, and then a camouflage net. You probably could run it with binoculars, but my thought here is that you see it'll take the view range up from about 240 to over 300. But my thought here is that most of these Tier 3 maps are pretty small and not really sitting still long enough for those binoculars or to take effect. So anyway, just want to take a quick look at the tech tree and show you where this tank takes you. You can see here T1, T18, T82 straight across the line there. This splits into 2 American TD lines, which eventually take you up through the E4 or the E3. You can see I've just now gotten the E4. It's super fun to drive. I love the T30 and it's an amazing gun. Haven't followed through on the bottom line, the T95, which you know is a very difficult tank to come against with its frontal armor. But I haven't. Those tanks are a little bit more difficult to grind, so I haven't gone down that line yet. So let's take a look real quick here at the spreadsheet. You can see T82 at the top line there is highlighted. It's a little bit lower in hit points at 240, and the armor is horrible. They're at 13 compared to the tier average at 32. Weight just a little bit above average, but it does have a nice horsepower engine, which gives you a top speed of 48 kilometers per hour, which is best in class there. So also fairly good traverse at 41. You can turn and move this tank pretty well. However, when you're shooting, obviously you do want to be stationary for as long as possible, just because of the fairly long 5-second aim time. But even still, at 5 seconds, that aim time is one of the better at this class for the TDs. Dispersion is at 0.52 is almost worse there at the class, and so is the rate of fire at 3.8. But where this tank makes up for it is with your average damage there. HE round at 400. Like I said, most of these Tier 3 tanks don't even have 400 hit points, so most of them are one shots. So anyway, let's take a look at some gameplay. Alright guys, first game here. And Fort Despair, just looking to see which way team's going to go. I don't make a call. With the T82, I'm most likely going to stay in the back and let the map unfold itself, and then I will make a decision as to which way to go once they get a few spots out there. This is not a tank you want to be out there doing spots with, so just because of its poor armor. And you can see here very little for me to aim at with these guys just peeking around the corner. And when I do take a shot, you know, it misses quite considerably there. So we've got a long reload, and that dispersion is pretty bad. Another shot hits the tent way back there. It wasn't even close. So very easy in this situation to start panicking and you know, run forward and whatnot, but we just got to keep our position here. Another shot aimed right at him and does no damage. I don't even know where that went. And you can see our team's falling apart, and can't say that I'm not to blame for that because I've missed every single shot I've taken so far. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to heat and get a lucky shot there that goes over the hill and lands on one of the tanks I wasn't even aiming at. So that was quite fortunate. But you can see here I take another shot and it tracks him, and I mean, this has just been the worst luck with this tank to start the game. But what's nice is you can have a shot like that, one shot, take him out. So now we are 3-on-1. We've got the cruiser that's coming in first. And of course you can see here how I'm staying behind the hill. I've conserved my hit points, so I'm able to take a few shots from him and then finish him off with one shot. So now another long reload and T18 pops up, and I'm just gonna back up and wait for my reload. He's gonna have to come around to me. We're both traversing at the same time, and go ahead and finish him off with one shot. Now obviously I'm keeping this on heat just because I want to make sure that I maximize penetration and do as much damage as possible. I don't want to low roll on a HE shot and have to reload twice. So you can see how I moved up, staying behind the rocks. I didn't stop and turn in the wide open for him to see me. He should have seen me because I spotted up, but now I'm back behind the bush here. Finally got leveled out, and sure enough, one shot takes him out. So got our Kolblanov out of this, primarily because we started off to such a bad shot. But as you can see, the good side is one shot takes out just about any tank. Did over 1,000 damage there, almost 1,105 kills. Okay, second game on Castilla. We are bottom tier, obviously, and in this situation want to get myself into a position where I've got as much view of the battlefield as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up on this little ridge line, go ahead and sit and just let the camo net take hold, and as you can see, if you do move, camo gets reset. Two have popped up on the other side, so sure enough, they are not going to the windmill. But I wanted to go ahead and support this other tank here so he wasn't alone, just in case. Didn't know if this would work. I was going to try to get up on top of this hill, and it does not. So that was a fail. But we are going to move on around down the riverbed here, and hopefully they are all on the other side, and we'll start coming up behind them. And this guy is exposed, one shot in, and finish him off just like that. Now we've got the Luchus on top of the hill. He's at 434 hit points here. Throw this one in, 380. That's a nice roll there. So ruins his game. I'm not going to worry about him now. I'm looking for bigger targets, ones I can do way more damage to with one shot. So we're going to push up on the SU, who I would assume was facing the other direction, which he is. And just wait here a second, make sure we're going to hit him, finish him off with one shot. And now while we're reloading, we'll go ahead and hit this LTB and make sure he doesn't move anywhere. Break those tracks and wait for our reload and finish him off just like that. So it's kind of how I like to play the tank. Stay on the back lines at first, let the map unfold, and then pick your points and try to get to the back side of some of these tanks if that's the way the map unfolds. It's the way you're going to do the most damage in this tank. You can see here, level 1, again, over 1,000 damage. Alright, here's another fun game on Fort Despair. Like I said before, I do like to let the game unfold in front of me a little bit more than in some of the other tanks. So I'll find a nice spot. Got hard cover to my left, got a little bit of soft cover with that bush in front of me. And I'm just going to sit here, camo net. Not likely anyone's going to see me. The team has pushed all the way around the corner. They haven't spotted anyone yet, so I was going to go ahead and push forward. I don't want to be sitting there and get flanked from behind. That's a really bad situation for a TD to be in. So go ahead and keep support with the rest of my team here. Trying to move up and get a shot in on that T46. One of the things with this tank, obviously, the HE has a slower velocity and has quite a bit of an arc trajectory to it. See here, I get hit from behind by a teammate and have to reset my my aim time there. But anyway, we go ahead and finish him off. Probably didn't need to use a heat round on him, but just wanted to make sure it finished him off. It's going to come in here and get down and finish him off. I have the T46 off, but he backs up and I waste a shot into a dead tank. T7 car is on my left. Going to take a few rounds from him. Try to back him out of the way. He's still got a few more. I always forget how many rounds that thing has. But anyway, he's going to sit there and just let me throw one shot into him. Just like that. We got the T18 facing us. He's going to shoot into the ground and miss. He's got good frontal armor, so we'll leave it on heat and of course finish him off too. So much fun when the shots go where you want them to. We've got the T82 up here. He's facing the other way, so I can push on up, leaving it on heat. This shot's probably a little bit low and hits a lot of the track and doesn't do as much damage as I would have liked there. One guy left. M2 medium's been stuck in the corner here the whole time, but yeah, this is just the fun part about this tank. He's got good armor there in the front, so I'm going to switch over to heat. Watch that arc, just sit on him, and 4 kills. It's really fun when the tank works well, but obviously there can be a good bit of frustration with the dispersion and missing shots, tanks moving. So anyway, let's take a look at another. Okay, final game I want to show you is kind of an interesting one here on Winter Malinovka. Obviously bottom tier. Quite a few mediums are going to push down to the left. Fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and, like I've said before, go down and support and just make sure I'm staying near some cover. So we'll wait and see what happens here with the map. T28 pops up onto the screen and got a nice little shot here, although it's a very small window. I'm going to go ahead and take that, and looks like I hit the wall and do 0 damage there, but anyway, the team pushes around and we'll finish off that T28 here in a second. Meanwhile, the rest of their team is a little bit slow coming down the side of the hill there. You can see they're starting to get popped up. I really don't have any shots from here, so I'm going to need to relocate and get into a position where I'm still keeping cover around me as much as possible. I'm not going to go sit on top of hills. Can't get my gun depression down there, so no point pulling all the way up and around. See those two guys up where I'm headed towards? They're sitting up there on top of the hill. They think they're in cover, but once they get spotted, they're wide open targets. So I don't recommend sitting on top of hills. Use hard cover. You can see we get a nice shot into there, into the PZ2G. Tracked him, and he gets a shot back into me and catches me on fire. But we've put him back out. We've killed him. So 5 on 5 at this point in time. Don't really have any good shots over there. The Matilda's kind of right on the other side of this mound. PZ3A, we'll go ahead and finish him off. Still 4 on 4. Alright, so we've got the T40 lined up there. And he gets a good shot into me. I return the favor there. But he's put me on critical life support here with 60 hit points left. And it's about this time that I'm not sure what happens to our team. They quickly fold here in a second. The Matilda's pushing around. My advice on tanks like the Matilda are just to ignore them until the end of the battle. They've got so much armor, there's no point wasting your time trying to find their one weak spot. You can see here now, all of a sudden, 4 on 1. Now I know that T40's been hiding in this corner, and I want to get him out of the way first, if possible. And so I was hoping that he would be right around the corner here, but he doesn't pop up, and the PZ4A's there, so I don't want to stay in that opening. I'll go ahead and go around. You can see the Matilda's still down there, and that T40 is right there, and no, he's a one-shot. I just want to get him as he comes around the corner here. So we wait patiently, and oh no, it's the PZ4A at first. We get a nice shot into him. Now they are both one-shots, but so am I. T40 decides to come around the corner, and oh, maybe not. And he can't back up because the other guy's blocked him. And of course, the guy that blocks him then completely misses the kill shot. So around we come, waiting for the reload, and sure enough, finish him off. From 4 on 1 to 2 on 1. 2.5 minutes left. If I can just get the right shots in, we might be able to pull this off. So I know that the other two guys know where I'm at, so I'm basically just making evasive maneuvers here to try to throw them off the scent. The Matilda, obviously, he's going to be super slow. And I'm totally expecting them just to be chasing me, and of course you can see there's the Matilda. And I've got him lined up, and you can see it every time that I move side to side, that reticle bloom goes back up, and so I decide to take the shot before he goes behind the building and miss it. And I get one shot here, the second shot misses, and repair my driver, and we're off to the races again. And totally missed a good opportunity to do some significant damage to the Matilda. Getting some love for the team there, telling me I'm gonna die, and I pretty much at this point believe them. There's a minute and a half left. You know, if I wanted to, I could just run to a corner and go for a draw, but I would much rather try to win this outright or lose it outright. Just hoping that they come around this corner and I can do some damage. But that's not going to be here, so not sure where they've gone at this point in time. They knew where I was. Now we know at least one of them's in the base, so I was going to pull up to the top of the hill here, and up. We've spotted the Matilda again. And you can see here he is turning that turret, and I'll drop 270 on him. And there's no point facing him one-on-one because he can get me just in one shot. So at this point, time is running out. I don't have a lot of options. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't finish off this M3. We know he's in the base. And I might have got a little different roll, who knows, if I'd have used HE, but didn't realize he would have the back to me, and dropped 255 on him. He's 6 hit points away from dying, but there's only 3 seconds, so just gonna hide behind the building and let it draw out. But kind of an exciting end to that game. I did lose a good bit of money, but it was well worth it. Lots of fun that game was. And you know, you can't help your teammates sometimes. You know, when these guys are only getting 1 shot in or 0 shots in, and you're doing everything, it's tough. So stay positive, guys. Enjoy the game. Hope you learned some map awareness here and can help your win rate. So get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.